Hi everyone, Soul Super 17 here, let me post like usual. I don't own the picture, pay video. Alright, so yeah, I'm back to making this what if. I'm gonna be trying to make tomorrow soul leveling Deku. I'm gonna try to. It's gonna be sometime this week, I'm gonna try to make it. It's just depending if I can get through all the videos that I need to watch to make sure where I'm at, because I technically already have an idea what I'm going to do. My dad is sleeping in the guest room because someone has to take care of the fire, so I'm down here, and well, yeah, I'm speaking low because I don't want to wake him up. Hold up, I gotta check something. I think I got something. Alright, sorry about that. So yeah. So basically, if you guys are wondering, this is basically Betrayed Bell. And how I was making it where he's not with Hestia, he's with a goddess of wealth and glory, which is my own personal character I made, along with based on another character named Mark. And Deathbringers. Basically, like its own little story. So I'm going with canon story now in this one, even though he's level 2. So it doesn't really matter for like some of the parts. So yeah. And I named her Elaine. Yeah, I named basically the goddess Elaine. So yeah, it's been a while. I watched both parts. I tried to think of the story, and I'm just like, gonna go with it. So let's, I'm just gonna go with what pops in my head. That's what I mean. So let's get this thing started. This is What If Bell Was Betrayed, Part 3. 2 years in the making. Yeah. Okay. So, no recap. Actually, sort of a recap, I guess, because of and it's in the playlist. You guys can watch the videos. So no recap. Anyways. So yeah, so basically we have Elaine basically looking at Bell's and Mark's basically stats. And I kind of made it where there's intelligence and different stats. So I'm kind of changing that up to where it's just basically the regular stats of Damanchi. So basically, Mark and Bell's stats should not be having anything there. Should be basically 0, but yet there's a couple of points in already for their stats. Magic is one of them. A high amount of it. It's already basically F rank. Yeah, it's already F rank of magic. For Bell, his agility is pretty high, D rank, along with not D rank. It's also basically F rank. And his strength is basically above it by 2 points. I never made a list basically of everything, so that's how I'm still doing it. Just want to point that out. So yeah. So anyways, though, she's just sighing. She's like, I can't believe these two. In which, though, what kind of strange is basically Elaine would say, basically see see basically a skill that appeared on Bell, in which she's like, wait a minute, this wasn't here before. This wasn't here before. Huh? Realis Freeze? Why would he need this? And then she's basically, kind of looking at Mark's paper. It's saying basically a skill, basically was given to him like Belle, appeared and such. She's just blinking. She's like, wow, leader of the pact. I wonder how that's gonna work. And basically, while Bella and Mark are out, basically are out, she basically, was just kind of trying to figure this out. Basically these, new skills. Because Bella and Mark are going to the guild to basically ask what type of, basically, status can they put onto their, basically, well, not status, but more like skills they can get for their, to further help them. Like, Bella could get luck, or basically, mage, predator, not predator, I mean hunter, basically, that sort of stuff. In which Belle looks at Marks and be like, so, what do you think? What do you think we should get? Which he just looking at Belle, he goes, well, we can use luck. I mean, if it's basically how we think it is, which we brainstormed on the way here, which Belle would just nod and be like, yeah, can get us more item drops then. In which Mark will go like, yep. And what about yours? Hunter will be best for me. Could help us a lot, could help us out a lot. Which Belle would nod like, true. So, abnormal resistance would be good for me. Even mage. Which, basically, though, Mark was like, you're a Deathbringer, man. Basically, your magic pool is so basically vast, you don't even need to worry about it. Besides, you got those 2 blades on your, Which, basically, Belle's like, yeah. The black and white one seems to be a little bit, well, seems like it's going to be a little bit interesting to use. Especially when one of the blades can use my green flames. Which basically Mark would nod. He's like, yep. And, what do you think about ice one? Basically, you can try conjure your ice into it. The other one at least. Which Belle just shrugs, be like, who knows? Maybe Edna will basically able to help us. So, in a sense, Belle would basically go to, to the guild as they get there and such, and they would see Edna there. He would just go up to her and goes like, just ask her saying, Edna, are you busy? When she goes, Belle, no. In which, actually I'm gonna go upstairs into my room real quick. Okay, sorry, but anyways, as she was saying, no, I'm not, as she said, as she says, no, I'm not. What can I help you with? Which Belle was like, well, we gotta, basically, how should we say this? Which Mark would just say, okay, look, remember how basically Belle's stats were very high along with mine? Which she would nod. He goes, yes, the monsters he faced, he goes, well, here's the thing. We became level 2. She just blinks, and then she just sighs and be like, you two only got here just, yesterday? Which, Belle's like, to be fair, we did have to basically go down, save some people, take on a big giant monster. I got a new coat, 2 new swords. You know. Which Edna's just like, okay. Alright, fine. Just tell me what you guys got. Which Belle's like, here actually. Where she goes, oh, these advanced skills. Alright. Mark, what about you? Which he just shows his ones. She goes, the normal. So, did you basically want my advice? Which Belle was like, to be honest, yeah. In which basically she would just, go on to explain how, about each skill and such. That basically, what she would have thought basically be good is Belle would get abnormal body, but luck is an unknown skill to her. So she wasn't know much about it, which basically though Mark will basically go like, well, the fact is though, we kind of came up with an idea, since technically this is a rare skill that basically Belle got, well, that he can add on to his stats. Basically, why not, you know, basically get it and such, while I get Hunter. The luck will be good for our basically drop rates. Monster parts, basically, which I don't know, think about that and just nod. And basically she goes, sounds like you already made a plan. Which Belle's like, can you ever choose one or more? Which she nods no, saying you'll only choose one. Which Belle's like, man. Alright, that kinda sucks though. Two skills would have been very good. Which basically Mark's like, man, if I can get basically Hunter than abnormal resistance, that would have been good. Well, I am what I am, so I already have enough resistances to, well, last me a lifetime. In which Belle would just nod and be like, to be fair, that we reached level 2 so easily, I think people are going to start saying we cheated or something. Which, basically, Mark just scoffs at that. They're like, yeah, the problem is that we face basically stronger monsters because of basically, well, I was technically your servant at one point. So of course I have to be on the same level as you all always. Which basically Belle will nod and be like, true. Did get annoying a couple of times though. Which Mark was like, yep. Too much stuff I had to do when basically the whole entire year just traveling with you. Man, sometimes you can be a pain in the ass, Belle. Which he's like, I was not that bad. He goes, okay, first off, you are basically a crybaby most of the time. Well, at first. Hold up. In which Belle says, I wasn't that much of a crybaby. Which basically was like, the first dungeon you went into that had basically, I don't know. Oh yeah, two-headed dogs that were basically the size of a horse. Which Belle's like, to be fair, one shot out fire, the other one shot out lightning from their mouths. Which basically, he just rolls his eyes, Mark. Which just, and is like, I don't want to know. I don't want to know. So yeah, so basically, after that, they would go back to basically Elaine and basically tell them which skills they want, you know, and which she would basically give them as such. And she would ask, do you mind if I ask you two to do something? In which they both look at each other and look at her and just shrug, but like, no, not really. She goes, okay, I know you may not like this idea since you guys can technically go to the lower floors and survive. And you're gonna need to because of all that. Basically, Acelia is, well, not gonna be able to allow you to basically getting stronger because of basically your stats are so high. So, heck, I don't even think you'll be able to even basically, well, able even to need to basically raise up your level at all of your stats, both of you. So, but I want you guys to at least not rush down there and, I don't know, try to basically at least make some friends with people. Have an adventure that isn't basically just like a boring fest for you guys. Which basically Belle just look at Mark, Mark look at Belle, then looks back at basically, the goddess, Elaine. And he just says, okay, get to the point, please. She goes, okay, fine. I just want you to basically get a supporter. Which Belle's like, I mean, what do you think, Mark? He goes, to be fair, though, it is taking a little bit of time to get monster cores. Basically, when we had to pick them up and such, or sorry, one I was just yawning, but I mean, or we had to basically like move something out of the way of a monster, so we don't trip on basically another part of it. So basically, it would be best to have someone there. Which Belle would nod and such. And basically, Mark's like, we do need some more weapons though. Even though basically your two new weapons are good, and your scythe and your daggers are pretty good along with basically our armor, I need some new ones. I'm gonna basically see basically the fastest will be able to make me a gauntlet so I can use as well. Have basically claws come out of basically the fingertips. Which basically Belle's just look at him. He's like, what? I'm not gonna basically stop not using my claws. So basically Belle's just like, I wasn't basically saying that, I'm just actually kinda surprised. Besides, we don't really have that much money. Which basically he just shrugs and be like, to be fair, with the amount of money we can probably get very easily. I mean, we got like a lot, so basically going down probably further will just give us a lot more. Again, yawning. Guess I'm just really tired. But anyways. So yeah. So basically, Belle would nod in agreement. I mean, just saying like, yeah, though, I mean, the whole entire idea may be complicated for her to do. Which basically Mark just scoffs at that, saying she's, it's just like, she's basically the goddess of the forge. She really thinks something like this would be basically hard for her. It'd be most likely child's play. In which basically Belle's like, you're not wrong. So yeah. So basically, hold up. Yeah, so basically I was saying, Belle would just also then say to him, so who do you think should be going to the dungeon? Which basically Mark would be like, actually, I think I should try basically get a little bit down farther than you, and you basically get support and try to help them out best you can. In which he's like, huh? To catch up with us. You have to basically try to help them basically reach a level suitable. So they can come down further with us. We don't want to leave them behind, basically, when we go down to the lower floors. I can try to see, basically, scout out, basically, for what, basically, materials are we going to need or items. And basically then take on the monsters to such increase our funds. So, basically, Belle just look at him and be like, well, that would be nice. And basically, we can probably then try to afford a place because, for basically Elaine and us. I mean, the tavern's good and all, but, probably may outstate our welcome. In which Elaine would just chuckle at that, be like, yeah. Anyways, before you guys go and do that, let me basically get your status, updated with your new skills you want. Which basically they both would nod. So, after basically Belle gets Luck and Mark gets basically Hunter, they go do what they're basically were, planned to do. Basically, we go to Mark, who's basically at the Hestia Familia, which he just being like, wow, pretty big. Should I basically go directly to the goddess? Or should I basically go somewhere, like ask some random guy or girl here? That may sound pretty better. So, yeah. Basically, he actually would go, he actually would go into the Familia and he would find somebody. He's like, hey, can you tell me who do I have to go to basically ask, to make something, or basically see if I can at least see which one of basically anyone here would be basically a good blacksmith or something? in which basically the person would say they have to go to basically goddess Hephaestus, in which he would just sigh and such, be like, "Alright, where's her office?" In which he said, the person said they'll show them the way. So yeah. Oh crap. Stupid bug. Hold up, I gotta kill this bug real quick. Alright. So everyone, just stink bug was taking a long time to get out of my room. Anyways, like I was saying, Mark went to basically see Hephaestus, his office, and, well, he'll knock on the door. Basically, he'll wait for a few minutes, and then Hephaestus will tell him to come in. So, when he does get there, he does see Hephaestus working on basically some paperwork, and he goes, "Well, I see you're busy, I could always basically come by later." In which she's like, no, it's just basically some stuff that's coming up soon. Anyways, what do you want? He goes, "Mark." "Okay, Mark, what do you basically want from me?" He goes, "Well, I want to basically ask for some advice." She goes, "Oh, really?" He goes like, "Yeah, I want some advice on basically making these." As basically he'll give her the paper, in which she'll basically look at it, and it's basically a diagram of basically the, well, gauntlets, in which you look at it and he goes, "The fact is, I wanted basically some gauntlets for myself due to basically I'm basically a close range fighter, and basically I fight with my fists and my claws." And then he just shows her, in which basically she would just nod slowly, goes like, "So, I want to basically at least have something to give my fist a little bit more weight on the punches. Do you think those can be made?" In which she would literally look at the paper, give it a good thoughts, and she goes, "Well, yeah, maybe some of my experience work, basically forgers could do it, but it's not basically going to be, well, cheap." He goes, "Don't worry about it." She goes, "Alright, we'll be able to get this done. Give us basically a couple of days." Which basically he would nod. And though he'll say, like, technically we do have another blacksmith we go to from a town 2 to 3 hours away, but, you know, I mean, it would be nice to have basically a good blacksmith that would be able to help us out here. You think you can basically recommend me to anyone? In which she would just kind of think about it. She goes, "I have to look into that." Which basically Mark would nod okay to it. So, meanwhile with Bell, Bell's already basically in his adventure basically gear, his new jacket, basically he's keeping the cloak on. Well, he added the hood of the cloak to it. To the jacket. And basically he's having his scythe still on his back, and, well, he goes, "Supporter, huh? Well, I might just need to tell her just straight up, basically, if anything." Which he would basically would think about. He was like, probably not tell her about the whole entire. Actually, maybe since our dungeons are here, then yeah. In which basically he would get to the fountain. He would kind of be thinking about it, and then all of a sudden, basically he'll hear basically, "Mr. Adventurer, Mr. Adventurer," which basically, Belle would just kind of snap out of it. She goes, "Do you need any help?" In which basically he looks and he sees basically this tiny person asking him, and he goes like, "Huh?" Well, yeah, Belle's like, "Huh?" But she goes, "Oh, you seem to be confused. I mean, it's not that confusing, Mr. Adventurer. It's actually quite simple." In which he's like, "You're a supporter." She goes, He's like, she just kind of like blinking, and where she goes, what's so funny? He was like, sorry, sorry. It's just the fact is I was kind of basically wondering how I should even find one. I was thinking about going to the guild and asking for some help. In which she's like, oh. Basically, so I do think basically they'll have the whole entire conversation in which he goes, my name is Lily's name, basically my name is Lily. And Lily basically wants to help out Master Bell. In which he goes, don't say, actually, whatever. Which he's like, huh? Something, is everything alright, Master Bell? In which he's like, well, not used to be calling, don't want to be called Master, but, got a quick question to ask for you. She goes, alright. He goes, what's your level? She goes, my level's only level 1. Then that may be a problem. She goes, but I assure you, basically, I can help you out, basically, on, in basically the floors you need to go up to. He goes, which basically he looks at her, he was like, well, that's kind of the problem. She goes, huh? As he just sighs, be like, well, let me tell you this then. So basically he just goes on to explain about his year basically travel, and then how, basically, what he is, and how far his his status was until before he hit level 2. And when she goes, you don't need a supporter, which Belle's like, actually, kind of do. You see, me and my, used to be servant, are, we don't basically, are good basically, getting the monster cores out of basically a body that doesn't turn to dust. So we kind of take a little bit too long basically getting them out, so that'd be very helpful. And besides, I mean, maybe if we actually, find some gear, make any gear for you that can actually help you get down to the lower floors. And where she's just blinking, where she goes, Lily does not need that. Lily basically can, handle most things on her own. Which Belle just looks at her and basically goes, Belle just kind of just shrugs at it. He was like, alright, but I'm still going to try and find a way to help you get down to the lower floors if basically you, aren't able to basically reach your status up and basically hit at least level 2. Which Lily's just kind of like thinking, basically, he's like the rest of them. Which basically Belle's like, don't get me wrong, I do need a supporter or such, but I don't want to basically put you in any danger. Which that'll basically make her shock. He goes, I also have basically my other basically companion that goes with me to the dungeon, but he's gonna be probably basically soloing for a while. And when she goes, that's kind of dangerous, don't you think, Master Bell? Which basically just shrugs, like, he can't help himself. After all, he's a werewolf. Which that just makes her blink. And which he goes, anyways, basically, he gets up and goes like, let's see where you basically are good at. How many floors we go down until basically you get tired. In which she's like, alright, if Master Bell thinks so. And so, basically, I would think probably level 12 will be the lowest they can go until Lily gets tired. Well, yeah, we'll get tired. In which Belle's like, just kind of, let her rest while basically they're at the 13th entrance, the floor entrance to the 13th floor. In which basically Belle's like, not bad, Lily. He goes, Lily, didn't expect Master Bell to be so powerful. in which she's thinking, how am I gonna take anything from him? In which he just shrugs at it, he goes like, trust me, these things are nothing compared to the monsters I face. Which she's like, huh? The dungeon is dangerous, which basically Belle just nods no. There's some real monsters out there. Ones that basically make these basically monsters look like chumps. Well, make them look like chumps. Weaklings. In which Lily cannot believe basically Belle's saying this. And so, basically, while basically Lily's catching her breath, and after, good silence, Lily sees someone basically coming towards them. In which basically she's about to say to basically Belle that maybe we should move until basically, they come into view. And, Belle just smirks. He goes, hey, Mark. Which Mark just nods. He goes like, man, that Festus basically really tries to give you a very big amount of money to pay off. Which Belle just smirks at him. He goes like, you want the gauntlets? Which he goes, yeah. Which he basically asks, so how much? He goes, it's kind of hard to explain, but imagine it's near basically $1 billion. No. Maybe over $1 million. Valis. In which Belle's just like, wow, maybe we should sell some of our monster parts to the guild. In which basically, Mark just basically rolls his eyes, be like, of course you will say that. Give me a minute, everyone. Alright, so which Mark does say, yeah, we do have a lot of some monster parts. I could probably get some Valis from it. Who's this? And he was like, oh, basically Belle looks over at Lily and back at Mark. He was like, oh, this is Lily, our supporter. Which basically Mark looks at her. He was like, you know what she is, right? Which Belle just goes like, gives him a blank stare. He was like, yeah, okay. You do know. Which Belle's like, I mean, remember Eyes of Truth? He goes, oh, right, you're able to see the truth. Which Belle just nodded, but Lily's like, huh? In which Belle was like, don't worry about it. Anyways, what floor are you trying to go to? He goes, I basically, like I said, try to go down to the lower floor, scout out basically what monsters basically I can kill first, and basically get information on them. On the ones I don't go after. Hold up. Alright, I'm back. But anyways, as I said, basically, Mark's just gonna go down, scout out basically some monsters, kill the ones he can, and kill the ones that basically he doesn't. And then basically he goes like, so we're gonna try to go down to the 30th floor or the 40th. Which he just shrugged like, go as far as I can. Which he just nods. He goes, oh yeah, try to run past Goliath. He just nods at that. He's like, I'll kill him on my way back up. Wait. We killed him basically yesterday, though. Crap, it takes 2 weeks for him to come back. Which Belle just nods, yeah, we never got the monster crystal. Do you think it's still there? Which Mark's like, hopefully. Which, Lily's like, Lily's not trying to be rude, but, how strong are you both? Which, basically, Mark says, he's stronger than me, and skill-wise. Amongst other things. Alright, sorry about that. Anyways, so yeah. So, basically though, as, Lily's just thinking these guys are crazy. What am I getting myself into? But yeah, no. So basically, Mark was saying like, well, you guys have fun. He goes, yeah, we will. So basically, though, Mark will leave and such, but Belle basically will yell down the stairwell saying, hey, don't forget, basically, if you don't have any extra, basically, healing potions and mind potions. Which Mark just says, I got it, don't worry. So yeah, so basically after that, after a few minutes when Mark's gone, basically he'll look at Lily, go like, you ready? Which she'll nod, and basically as, well, they will head back up. In which, basically, after they turn in all the money that they, got, well, all the basically cores they got, along with basically a few monster drops, which Belle keeps a few, while he basically sells the rest. He basically would give, Lily 50-50 right away. She's like, but Lily does not deserve this much. She didn't do much. You did most of the work, Master Belle. Which basically Belle just looks over like, well, you help with support. Basically, you tell me basically about the actions of basically each monster that we ran into. And basically give me some tips on basically how to deal with monsters I didn't really know they had a trick to, get rid of them easily. And besides, I mean, you're a supporter. I need to pay you as, basically not exactly the same amount as I get. Well, at least 50% basically the amount I, make. Besides, I already have someone else basically in the dungeon who's gonna get, more money than I can at the moment. Well, force myself to not go down there by myself at the moment. She was, Basically, though, she basically is thinking she does say, though, but it's really amazing how you can handle the monsters down there so easily. Which Belle's just kind of just like, well, when you've been trained for a year on killing monsters, and basically find out basically your whole entire family bloodline, it's kind of like one of those things that you'd never ever thought could ever happen. Kind of comes in handy. She goes, yeah, you never told me what was the name of your family bloodline, which he goes, don't need to know. I told you the basics of it. Basically, my family are very good at something. I'm not going to reveal much of it, and, well, Which she would nod. So, basically, Belle would just, like, anyways, let's try to do this for the next couple of days. Oh, is there anything that's coming up, though? She goes, oh, there's the Monsterphilia that's coming up. Which Belle's like, oh yeah, that. I missed it last year. Which basically, though, Lily would just be like, are we going to go into the dungeon that day? Which he goes, no. We'll be able to take a day off. How long do we have? She goes, in a few weeks. When she goes, well, that should be good enough. She goes, huh? He goes, good enough to get your stats up. We need to try to get it as best we can. So he goes, so that's why you're basically having me basically at least fight a lot, basically some monsters that basically I can handle, which Belle would nod. He goes, yep, pretty much. Honest and truth though, my first basically dungeon I went into, that was I wasn't basically being cautious at first, and I kind of, nearly had something happen to me. Not gonna say what. In which Lily's like, Lily can't imagine it was basically bad. He goes, yeah, especially when there's dungeons outside of the city. In which basically Lily's, she just blinks multiple times. And then she was saying, Lily wants to know if you're joking or not. Which Belle's like, nope. Not joking. Not joking at all. And she's just like, Uh, and you said these dungeons are also in the, well, are in the dungeon. He goes, yep, pretty much. She just sighs. So, I am totally getting a little bit tired. And I need to stay up mostly so I can take care of the fire until 2. Yeah, keep going. So, basically, Belle's like, anyways, I want to basically treat you to a meal, so come on, we're gonna go to basically my home. She goes, alright, so basically they would go to the, tavern. She goes, this is your home? He was like, yep, this is my familia. Well, our base operations are the familia, though. And so when basically Belle enters, Elaine is there, basically in basically the maid outfit helping out, which Belle just actually has a kind of a snicker on her, on him, in which she would say, "Welcome," and oh, Belle, and who's this? He was like, "Goddess, this is my supporter." Basically, Lily would say her name, and she goes, "Oh, I'm Elaine, the goddess of fortune and glory. It's nice to meet you." Which basically Lily just kind of blinks and, nods and saying, basically, thank you, and, well, basically she would ask, are you basically coming back to eat? Which she just nods and she would give them a table. And so basically Belle orders something, basically tell Lily to order something, which she would look at and, well, she would. And so basically she's, just looking at Belle, be like, why are you treating me like this? Which kind of basically not really shocking to him. Well, technically not really, but sort of. Which he just sighs and be like, I'm not gonna treat you basically like other adventurers. So don't worry about it. Which she's like, huh? What do you mean? He goes, one of my abilities I have is to see the truth. So, I know basically what's going on with you. And I want to help, but I'm only going to help in the way basically paying you. We're going to be going down to the deeper floors until level 17. Until floor 17, basically. We're not going to go into the boss fight. In which Louis is like, do you mean you're going to try to help me? Which he goes, yep, pretty much. Alright, I need to check on the fire real quick. So as I said, Val already knows, due to his eyes of truth, he basically sees the truth, can't see a possibility of the truth. So he's taking basically a, chance. In which Lou is just like, and yet you're still, he goes, yep. As basically their drinks would come by, and they basically Belle just starts drinking, so basically jump juice, basically, I would think. As she's just like, yeah, Lily thinks you're weird. Which Belle just kind of looks at her and just chuckles. He was like, of course I'm weird. I'm a death bringer. I basically can kill gods. Or have the ability to kill them. In which basically Lily was about to sip her drink. And then when she heard that, she stops and gets a little bit worried. He was like, don't worry, I won't do it unless some gods are going to be a pain in my butt. She just nods slowly and just, starts drinking her drink. And actually they eat in relative silence. So Belle's then saying, so, tell me about yourself. In which she's reluctant to. In which Belle's like, you don't have to tell me much, just the basic information what you want. In which she would just nod slowly and tell him, everything of herself that she wanted him to know. So, So basically, Belle would nod basically in acceptance and be like, alright, so let's basically enjoy our meal now. Not be basically a little bit worried. She'd be like, huh? You had that look on your face saying you were basically worried about what I'm gonna do. I'm not judging you for anything, so don't worry about it. In which she would nod slowly. So, Mark basically would have been down already by, basically, I want to say when they left, it was afternoon, so basically it's dinner. Yawn again. But yeah, no. And then, well, basically nothing really. Hold up. Okay, it was not make dinner, but get dinner, you know. So yeah. So basically, though, Mark will get back and have to basically basically turn in basically the monster course for, Valis in the morning, which Belle and Elaine basically asks how was it, which he goes, a lot of strong monsters. I can only go up to basically level 32, floor wise, and which basically Hesio will just say it's not, not your basically fault. Don't worry about it. Try to be a positive, you know. Anyways, so yeah, so I would say the next basically few days, this kind of goes on just doing that. But the only difference is Bella and Lily basically go down basically a floor, at least a new floor every day to get her used to basically going down to the lower floors. For if they ever get basically new people. And which I would think I don't know why I said stores for new people. I'm just starting to get tired. I'm literally starting to get tired. Hold up. Okay, now I understand why I said meet new people. It's basically due to him gonna go to Festus and, see basically if they recommend, she found someone they can go to, if basically they can't basically go to the blacksmith that they basically got there, well, from the town, basically Belle's a part of. Yeah, that was the reason why. I just kind of think it because my mind was basically getting, like, tired, as I said. Anyways, back to it. So, yeah. I would say, though, that does go on for the next, couple of days and such. So, Monsterphilia. The only difference is, though, Frey is not the one that will basically release the monster. I would think it would be someone else. Basically, as basically this person will just be sneaking around, be like, it's been a year since he's been gone, and now because of this, man, he really basically did it, he really thought he would never be able to access it or basically get to it. But man, he was wrong. I gotta see what he can do, though, with basically that scythe of his. I can't help it, I'm just too curious. So, basically, Ganesha's people, are basically in a trance of sleep due to an item. And, well, basically, he basically would use a device to basically hypnotize the monsters and such. Meanwhile, Belle, Mark basically, not basically going to a dungeon. He's enjoying his time. Elaine is basically with Mark while Lily and Belle basically are, going around basically trying to look for different shops, basically, or different stands. Elaine basically wanted to show Mark around basically the stands that are out during this, while Lily's also doing the same for Belle. So basically Belle's like, man, place sure gets packed on this day. Which Lily goes like, Monsterphilia basically is a very big day. Lily basically always likes it, and this is her first time being to one. In which she's like, cool. Well, then, I'm basically very surprised because you seem like you've been here basically multiple times before. Which Lily just chuckles and just nods no. Alright, so, basically, what happens is very simple. Okay, sorry. I had to basically at least. For some reason, I've had something on my hand, and I was like, crap. Because it was probably because I think basically it was something from basically what I did earlier today didn't come off. I thought I got it off, so I was just washing it off real quick. Sorry about that. But I mean, it was just probably dirt or something. Most likely it was oil, since I had to work with something that was oil. Well, just helped out my dad. But yeah, no, anyways. So yeah, as I said, first time both of them being there and such. As, well, I think basically they all will meet up after going through some stands and some stores and, again, seeing what's there. And then all of a sudden they hear basically a crowd of people, screaming and basically moving away, as basically Belle and Lily, Elise, and basically Mark basically see monsters. Belle looks at Mark and Mark nods as he just starts running, and he activates the skill, basically leader of the pack, which basically brings out Shadow, basically wolves. Basically, that Belle created a while back, they basically, he can use anytime he uses this skill, as then he transforms. As Belle immediately basically has a scythe, and basically would just run towards the monsters, and basically they would try to hit Belle, and the ones that would try to hit Mark, but they take it out so quickly, which everyone is shocked by, until basically they see the albino or silverback gorilla, in which Belle's like, hey Mark, isn't it like the bigger they are, the harder they fall situation? When she's like, true. I mean, but for us, this is most like child's play. Which basically Belle's like, you do the honor? What, you can do the honors? Which he basically just shrugs like, sure. As then he just basically disappears, and immediately basically the whole entire, gorilla gets a slash going down deep enough to basically kill the creature. As everyone's in shock by this, his eyes, basically was nearby, saw him what happened, as though he can't believe it. Basically, Freya was watching, basically smirked, as basically the person that, got all the monsters out, so just like, wow, those two are really amazing. Anyway, maybe I can ask Freya for some help on this. Yeah, maybe. As basically the person would disappear. Now, basically, I said Elise, and then I was like going Elaine. Okay, no, I gotta go back to Elaine. Elaine basically was like, that was amazing, guys. Which basically, Martha shrugs about it, as Belle's like, just doing what we basically do best, killing monsters. Anyways, come on, let's keep back enjoying our day. So yeah, that's what they did. Now, I can go further into the point where basically it most likely would be, a couple weeks go by moment. No, a couple weeks go by. Lily and Belle have been getting close. Basically, Mark joined and helped. Basically gotten close to basically them too when he was going down with them. And basically, this specific day, Lily basically meet her old employer that she basically stole from, as well. Because she would basically see, the guy talking to Belle, as in her so familiar, basically, are telling him, cut ties with him and blah blah blah. What they were saying in canon. So Lily basically would tell Belle on the way down, basically about the Soma Familia, and then he goes, which then he just smirks, be like, "Don't worry about it. We'll be fine. Besides, they don't know who they're messing with." So so basically they get down, same stuff will happen, basically though because of the plan that they're following. And what happens next is though, basically while Lily's running, basically monsters are coming out. Basically eyes were basically running down, again to the exact same floor, the 10th floor that Belle's on. And she was seeing basically taking care of the monsters very quickly, but one was going to come from behind as she kills that one. As basically Belle's looking over and basically can see eyes, he just smirks and basically runs after Lily. As basically she goes, I forgot. Eyes is saying this. I forgot to basically say something to him. So yeah. So anyways, as basically Lily's basically, while basically Belle's running, Lily's dealing with the people as they basically, about to throw her until all of a sudden they hear growling. As basically multiple, basically different shadow wolves come out. Basically the corridors that basically had shadows. As one was like, "What the?" As another one was like, "Did she do this?" Basically the one that told her was like, "No, it can't. Maybe it's that other adventurer or someone else." In which basically they can't pinpoint me. Basically on memory wise, all they know is they see these creatures means trouble. And so, they basically would get a fine stance and basically throw Lily to them, just saying basically, eat her. She basically would have, a lot more meat on her. But the wolves are not basically looking at them, like that. They're looking at basically they, are about to basically kill these guys. As two of them, as one of them run off, as one basically wolf jumps forward and bites the basically neck of the guy, ripping its head off completely. As the other one's freaking out, basically, as one basically wolf just runs up and basically, slashes at him, basically kind of deep into his basically body and such. And then, basically, trying to basically think where I was going with this for a moment. Okay, yeah. So basically, the guy that was about to run away just gets slashed. As the guy that threw Lizzie is basically backing up, as Belle just says, "Good riddance to your scum," and he turns around and basically just slash off his head. Pure, basically fear on his face for all to basically, would be, able to see until basically the body goes up in green fire. As he basically would run over to Lily and ask if you're okay, she was like, "What are these?" He goes, "Shadow manipulation. I made them ahead of time when we got onto basically this floor, just so, in case precaution." She's like, basically she would just probably ask again, "Why are you basically saving me?" Someone like me basically was willing to steal, and go on her little rant about basically the whole entire unfairness she was doing. Basically to Belle, as Belle just smiles at her and goes like, "I already knew that, remember? And I know you're not a bad person, you just want to be out of basically familiar that treats you like crap, right?" She would just nod slowly, was like, "So? I'm here for you, basically, Lily, alright?" And where she just starts crying and then basically hugs Belle. And yeah, he basically hugs her back and that's gonna be where we can leave it off, everyone. I'm just starting to get tired. So, like I was been saying, I'm starting getting tired, and I'm just not 100% in my right mind, basically, because I'm just like, I want to sleep. So, yeah. So, I basically have messed up a lot on this one, I believe, but I wanted to basically get this out, so I don't really care at the moment. But, yeah. Anyways, you guys have a nice day, night, wherever you are, and bye.